Hi, this is an open letter to Maria Shriver from me, Julie Danis. Maria, in a recent YouTube video, you declared, "I'm in transition." Well, me too, I'm in transition. And I resonated with the feelings you expressed about living in the space between what was and what will be. You mentioned the stress and uncertainty that accompanies the desire to get on with life in a meaningful way. I believe I heard you also ask for some latitude for not knowing what is next, for what follows being a first lady, a journalist, an author, a devoted daughter of aging parents, and a life partner. Transition is tough. It can feel like emptiness full of possibility. But knowing that doesn't always mean you can sense or take comfort in the possibility. You asked the throngs of anonymous YouTube viewers for advice, for 3 things that helped each person in transition. Now, many of the comments mentioned faith, being close to God, finding your spiritual center. Now, that's really good advice, but I thought, does that help you move through the transition process? And this thing called transition is a process, even though it often feels more static than dynamic. So today I am offering my 3 cents, earned through months, perhaps years of transition. I can't guarantee results if you follow my tips, nor do I declare that I've mastered this transition thing, even though I do consider myself a master in the subject given how long I've been working at it. First, count your achievements, any and all, from the achievements that matter most to you to those that matter more to others. Each one offers insight into what you want your transition to be. From an outsider's perspective, you have so many on both the personal and public sides of life's ledger. A fraction of these would qualify you for inclusion in a top 10 list in numerous categories. I admit a secret and probably vain desire to have been named to one of those lists of people who have achieved something special by a certain age. You know, Parade magazine's top prep football players, or Glamour magazine's top 10 college women, or my former dream list, the 40 under 40 list of Chicagoans making a difference, compiled by Crane's Chicago Business. Now let me also admit that there's no real reason for me to have been chosen for the 40 under 40. I had a successful time of things in my 20s and 30s, but I wasn't this charismatic public servant or a C-suite executive. I wasn't an innovative entrepreneur or even an amazing do-gooder. I rode in the middle of the pack of people like me. Urban professionals with good-looking resumes reflecting multiple degrees from top universities and jobs that referenced popular brand names found in kitchen cabinets across America. But did anyone other than my parents and my best friend think I had list-making credentials? Nah. Did I have potential? Probably. But each year the 40 under 40 list named individuals who had already blossomed, while I continued to look for the right pot in which to grow some roots. Now, even though I realized all this, I still felt defeated because if and when I became an older wunderkind, there'd be no more list that would have me. I was without a new benchmark to reach. Until a few weeks ago when I discovered the first list to my knowledge that celebrates people well over the AARP eligibility age, Crane's 7 over 70 list. Whew, once again, I have something to reach for. Okay, number 2 tip, keep learning. In a former life as a marketer, I asked groups of women over 40 what made someone old. The best answer I heard was, when you stop learning, you're old. Now, this particular woman's mother had refused to learn how to use voicemail, and in her daughter's view, she had hung up on life. Now, I've always found solace in school. Some of my fondest memories are number 2 pencils and pleated plaid uniforms and shiny new shoes. So the first thing I did post-layoff was to enroll in a certificate program in creative writing. I'd already completed several one-off writing classes, but this time I would fully commit and hopefully have a completed book after just 2 years. I love having a goal. Now, school has often been the answer to what's next in my life. I went to social work school because I didn't know what to do after college. I went to business school because I didn't know what to do after social work. I went to improv school to take me away from my business life. I took a journalism class to prove to myself that I could write a newspaper column, and I was ready to get that master's in journalism until my professor said, "Julie, you don't need any more school, just go do it." Which brings me to my 3rd bit of advice. Take action, any kind of action. Write, talk, walk, redecorate, organize, get a makeover, go to therapy, go to Rome, go to lunch with friends. Isolation is the fuel for a long and difficult transition. You forget you have things to contribute unless you're talking to people. Solo hand-wringing leads to stomach issues and migraines, not to mention wrinkles which women of our age are prone to without any extra assistance. Some of this is easier than others. I've journaled inconsistently and organized inconclusively. I've exercised new muscle groups to points of pain. I even traveled to China. But talking with friends, associates, and heaven forbid strangers who don't know my middle-of-the-pack success story often proves difficult. I mean, how do you talk about what you want to do when you don't know? How do you introduce yourself without a riveting answer to the inevitable question, what do you do? And its accusing lieutenant, what do you want to do? How do you present yourself as confident and professional when you feel a little lame and a lot amateur? Now, I'm not saying this is how you feel, Maria. I'm just saying that feelings of inadequacy and being an imposter lie in wait for the unarmed in the land of transition. I've lived my life between longing and doing. I learned the longing from my mother and the doing from my father. Mom's life was full of longing for her first love, who died on a battlefield in France, for the career she left in a small town in northern Ohio, and for the peace and happiness that chronic depression and stroke stole from her. My dad did the doing. He was an engineer with a solution, a man with a plan that he executed, and the father who told me I could do whatever I wanted to do if I only took action. So today I'm taking a step away from longing and towards doing, and I'm asking you, want to work on this transition thing together? I've always found that walking the transition path is more beneficial and enjoyable when done with someone else. I hope you do. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Julie Danis, and that's D as in David, A, N as in Nancy, I, S as in Sam. Thanks for listening.